One thing that I've heard some pastors speak about, and I don't know if you've spoken about this, is, well, they try to address the rising anxiety, depression, and suicide rates in America among adolescents, among teens, especially, well, anxiety and depression among young girls. That seems to be especially high. I want to know your thoughts on that, because as that goes up, there is also a decline in kids being raised religious, Christian specifically. That correlation, as one goes down, one goes up, is it connected? Is it causal, or is it just coincidence in your eyes?
Yeah, I see. You may know where I'm going with this answer, but I actually mentioned this to my congregation, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago in a sermon. When one of the big things they talk about, the culture, I say the culture talks about, and this is the kind of the ongoing dialogue, is the conflict between science and Christianity or faith, right? That these can't be congruent. They can't go together, which of course I believe is totally the opposite. I believe they go hand in hand. But I said, guys, if you want to do some science and try to figure some stuff out, here's something to figure out. Suicide rates, depression, mental illness, as you said, are skyrocketing. They're alarming rates, like triple, quadruple, double what they were 10 years ago. It's unbelievable how bad the mental and emotional state is of our young people, particularly, right? At the same time, as you mentioned, the rise of the nuns. I don't know if you've heard, not the nuns like in the Catholic faith that teach at the schools, but the nuns, N-O-N-E-S, like nun, and the big survey that says, what's your religious affiliation? And if you check nun, you'd check Catholic, I'd probably Protestant or whatever. Nun, that's like almost 20% now in the United States. So the rise of the nuns means that more and more people have no religious affiliation, and that's increasing. At the same time, mental illness, instability, suicide rates. And I cannot help but believe there is a basis and a foundation of life that's missing. And that's why we're struggling emotionally and mentally as a culture. You want to talk about a pandemic? That's pandemic. It's probably epidemic right now, but it's going to be pandemic when we start going, why are all of our kids stressed out and don't want to live and don't know why they're here and are afraid of everything? It's because listen, I don't have all the answers, but I know tomorrow when I get up, whatever happens, God's going to be in charge. And I believe that. And that belief helps me understand I'm going to have good days and bad days, right? But ultimately, in the end, He's going to get me to what He's promised me to be. And I'm not going to, doesn't mean that, pastors get depressed. People don't know that. Pastors have depression. Pastors can in fact, some pastors are prone to anxiety and, what some of the desert fathers back in the day called dark nights of the soul, right? Those times where you're just like not sure. But ultimately, I always come back to this. I rest assured in everything that Jesus said was true. And this world, he said, listen, this world, one of my favorite things is like, in this world, you'll have trouble. But be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. So that is ultimately going to, I think, is what this culture needs to get back to a mindset that says, yeah, I may have been cut from the team. My girlfriend may have broken up with me. I may not win this job or win this competition, but God loves me. I know that for sure. He's got a purpose for me. And so I can get up on Tuesday morning.